session. Before we get started, allow me to introduce our keynote speaker, someone with a great passion for the community, youth empowerment, and sports. Allow me to welcome Honorable Kenson Casimir, the Minister of Youth Development, Sport, and from St. Lucia. Thank you.
Heads of government, youth leaders, journalists and media personnel, Commonwealth youth leaders, future leaders of our great nations, I greet you on behalf of the people and the simply beautiful island of St. Lucia, and I am honored to deliver this brief feature address on the topic, the economic imperative, skills development for the 21st century jobs. As one of the younger youth ministers in the region, I advise first and foremost that I may be just a little bit controversial, so please bear with me. I want to start my address by firstly defining skills development. Skills development is a process which enables trainees to gain access to knowledge and abilities, career ethics, and good working attitude, which may enable them to gain employment. Keyword, attitudes that will be able to allow them to gain employment. As such, I want to encourage first and foremost employers and indeed Commonwealth governments to give due consideration to the mixed model employment embraced as a result of COVID-19. Now, one suggestion is a 4-day work week, with Fridays being reserved for working from home. I want to say that most of what I say today will be implemented in the near future, whether we like it or not. The benefits of a 4-day work week includes an increase in employee satisfaction, company commitment, and of course, teamwork. A 4-day work week also decreases stress levels and provides mental health. And we know that there are so many studies on mental health in this society. Now, one study conducted by Caroline Castillon in Forbes magazine indicates that 21st century jobs have moved away from 5-day work weeks. In that survey of over 1,000 Americans, 9 out of 10 people believe the 5-day work week is outdated. Not only that, but about 80% of respondents say the pandemic has increased the desire for a 4-day work week. An overwhelming 98% believe it would improve their mental health. In this study, the author suggests that during a 4-day work week, the focus should be working in teams, while a day's work from home breeds the opportunity for individuals to tap into their own talents and skills in the interest of company goals. With this being the case, our education system amongst the Commonwealth nations must develop a deeper symbiotic relationship with what this modern suggestions is. COVID-19 and the modern technology has watered down every requirement for things to be done at a strict particular time frame. Modern research continues to evaluate the modern man's attention span and ask whether work is better done throughout a long 9-to-5 day, or whether or not businesses and government services are better off making use of the modern day worker's short attention span. In a recent study, Julia Gifford, she used the time tracking and productivity app Destime and concluded that the most productive people work for 52 minutes at a time, then break for 17 minutes before getting back to it. As such, we've seen in the 21st century a significant reduction in jobs requiring 9-to-5 time frames, with a move towards work or task being completed within the confines of an extended 24-hour day. Modern technology has therefore caused the requirements of our education system to move away from school classes being based on a similar standard time. As such, it is important that we as a Commonwealth consider whether we need to adjust our curriculum to reflect this fact at an earlier age. The next generation of children are far more advanced with the use of computers and technology at an earlier age. Online classrooms before COVID-19 in some countries were introduced closer to teenage years. Our people must consider whether or not it is beneficial to continue to promote time management in a relaxed environment from home and promote a more proficient school system that makes better use of an expanded 24-hour day. As such, schools should focus time spent by the nation's youth in the classrooms as time to teach more social skills, etiquette, basic finance management, tolerance of differences, teach focus, teach cross-cultural communications, teach curiosity, problem solving, or conflict resolution. All these skills are highly required in the modern global work environment. In addition to this, Commonwealth nations must work harder to ensure updated skills databases are created to ensure that skills are provided for government. The driving force behind most modern economies come from small businesses and/or the gig economy. Government and the private sector must capture all the skills available to their local economy and ensure that it can be geolocated in the communities and, of course, available to everyone, every employer in the Commonwealth. Having knowledge of all the persons who graduate or return home from school with a particular skill is essential in ensuring a productive society. Not only will this provide more frequent employment to the nation's youth, including school leavers who struggle to get into the workforce, but it will ensure that governments continue to make strategic decisions on the education system based on skills available and those that are not. In conclusion, the ILO has indicated that while the youth population has grown by 30%, the participation in the workforce has decreased by 12%. Though this can be partly attributed to longer time spent in education, far too many young people graduate from the education system with traditional skills needed, but are not equipped with skills needed to be functional in an increasingly global village. At the end of the day, young people are indeed spending a longer time in the education system, only to get into an establishment and have to spend an inordinate amount of time learning the culture and the specific requirements of that business. As such, greater emphasis must be placed on a different set of skills, including empathy, adaptability, intuition, data interpretation, software management, virtual meeting etiquette, and budgeting, whether it is budgeting to balance your financial gains or whether budgeting remains the fact that you need to balance your time spent at work with the time spent on oneself. The fact is, in this modern world, we need to adapt to what is needed to be productive. We will need not only to think outside of the box, but we may need to throw the box entirely. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Thank you for setting the tone to actually the challenges and issues that we're going to discuss.